that he's just going to play Annie every game.
Yeah.
So
I don't know why.
the team definitely loves Annie, and Kenvi loves Sejuani, so that makes the takeaway make a little bit more sense by Golden Guardians.
It's a takeaway, but it also, I think River is really happy playing Sej because it allows him to affect his lanes depending on what lanes they want to pick. And obviously, as I mentioned previously, they brought out the Varus yesterday. Not a huge shock to see Stixxay back on
that's
that.
going to be Static Shiv, Nashers.
You don't know that. Some people still go pen.
Tactical went Duskblade yesterday, but I really do feel like, especially now that they have enough physical damage with the Jayce mid, Static Shiv, Nashers,
two pen champions.
Omni-Vamp item.
Both Duskblades.
You're wrong. It's not what they're doing.
I hope I'm wrong. I did not like the poke one. I think it makes more sense so far what we've seen out of Immortals. There's not like a super beefy jungler combined with a super beefy top yet. I think that's where I do think there is some build flexibility for the Varus in the meta, even though Shiv is very strong. If you're going to need to melt through health bars and you can't just poke through them or something, that's where I really do like the Shiv. But if they're really squishy, you know, you can still go pen.
I'm really interested in the Sejuani from the side of Golden Guardians because, like, it feels like Golden Guardians, once again, they're on red side. They're probably going to be giving top lane counter pick there to Licorice. And with the Yone game that he played pretty recently, that is going to be really difficult for Solo to deal with because, generally speaking, he's going to be on a weak side duty. And if you're dealing with Sejuani, Renekton, or Sejuani, Yone, something like that, you're just going to get picked on the entire game.
I'll preface this by saying I absolutely think that River's going to be playing the Sejuani, but of all teams to try the top Sej flex, I do think Golden Guardians would be like first in line.
All right, that's an NA Jayce, baby. Let's be honest. Licorice is going to take that top. You think that's Jayce mid for Gori 100%. You're talking about Sejuani going top. Licorice has been a Chad all split.
Golden Guardians does love the flexing.
Speaking of Licorice being a Chad, I appreciate that he earned the Yone ban, right? For his Hullbreaker Yone shenanigans previously.
Solo doesn't seem like the Gragas type to me, but they did mention that the Yone was specifically into the Gragas.
I feel like they might just also be scared of the pairing with Sejuani with Sej jungle. Yone would have a lot of games set up pretty easily. And like you said, a lot of times Yone can do well into tank matchups in general, and that's a lot of what Solo likes to play, even if it's not specifically Gragas. But no, we get boring old.
Oh, it's Ornn time, baby.
Yeah.
Give me Ornn. TF can't be picked, but give me Ornn.
I do wonder what Solo will go here. IMT is just going to continue to slam more engage. So you're right about Ornn. It's being hovered, but they have Annie, they have they have Wukong, and you need to deal with the poke in some way. So that's a nice way to also just tag on to engage.
Support. I mean, they could flex the Annie down support technically if they wanted to, but I don't think we do.
I'm envisioning. Oh, I was about to say Nautilus. Rakan works just as well. And for IMT, I think a lot of action has to happen through bot lane, and so Treatz, throughout his entire, when I say entire career, I'm also including TSM, his career within Academy as well. He has been an engaged support. That's something that it feels like he and Kenvi should be working towards, trying to find bot lane openings. Yeah, I would love this.
How much does Huhi like Rell?
Yeah,
that's what
he loves Rell.
Well, I mean, I was talking to Jan on stage, and I was like, talk to me about the Samira Rell, and he like, and obviously I was thinking he talked more about the Samira side as an AD carry player, but he was like, nah, Rell's busted. Like, anytime you can get Rell, like, that's really strong. So yeah, I think not surprised to see Huhi just slammed that with a lot of different champions.
Yeah, and I mean, it was part of their run through playoffs, right? It's like Huhi has a very good engage sense, so the rest of the team is bought in. Rell is super strong on her own. And yeah.
Man, I like Golden Guardians. I just think the Static Shiv will work so well with AP Varus here. It allows them to go like, basically Sejuani and 2 AD solo laners is actually so like powerful, but it usually screws you because the other team stacks armor, but then they're gonna have this like AP Varus who can do like 50% of your max health against solo if he doesn't build MR. So I don't know, I just love Golden Guardians draft. We're gonna have to send it to the casters though to get us in the game.
Thank you very much, everybody. Welcome back. It's time to hit the rift for game number 2. It's Immortals versus Golden Guardians. I'm happy to see the Rell and Rakan. I always think League of Legends is a lot more fun.
Tremendous amount of CC and lockdown. And if you've played against AP Varus, you know if you get locked in place, if he hits that Q after you get tagged by the ulti, like you are just toast. If you're a squishy, you're instantly dead. It is really terrifying when there is so much setup for the Varus ultimate because Rell can set it up, Sejuani can set it up. You have point and click stun from the Renekton as well. There's all of these tools to really enable that Varus and to make sure that you are landing these skill shots, which is what it's all about. So going to be an interesting one. Some explosive engage, of course, on the other side as well. You've got Ornn, Wukong, Annie, and Rakan. So this is going to be a real messy one. I do think. And when these kind of drafts, if one team starts winning, they often start winning really, really hard because there's not like a massive fallback plan, I think, for either side. It really is, you know, about those initial engages.
Well, I mean, you look at everybody on Immortals' team. Annie wants to engage and go in. Wukong, engage and go in. Ornn, engage and go in. Rakan, engage and go in. Aphelios, throw a big ball of light at them and then stand 500 meters away with your sniper rifle or whatever you have at the moment and support them.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's just throw the kitchen sink at them for IMT. And that's the other side of the coin here for Stixxay. Yes, if you catch somebody out, you're going to be feeling like the cannon. If you get caught out, well, you're dead.
Yeah, you are getting hit by the cannon. So that is going to be what both these teams are dealing with, absolutely. Gori, I think, has been one of the best mid lane Jayces in the league since he has joined. Really has been such a pleasant surprise and one of the best imports I think we've had in this league in quite some time. Jat having that hot take that, you know, Immortals would finish above Golden Guardians. And Golden Guardians are not off to the best of starts, but would love to win here and move themselves both above Immortals, but also more importantly for them, above that 50-50 mark. Because I still think they've never once actually finished above 50-50 in the regular season, right? Because again,
it's always been 99.
Towards that end of last season, things kind of fell off, and this is really rough. Treatz having to flash there. You get the early level 2. It's just not a mistake you ever want to see, you know, at this level.
Right.
You have to count the minions. You have to play with respect to that. Potentially thinking he could get like a Targon's proc or something to hit 2 there. We didn't see what the, you know, the engage kind of happened from. But we did see the fallout of that, and it is the Ignite traded for the Flash, plus an HP advantage gained by Stixxay and Huhi. And it's just really tough laning against Varus as is. He is one of those really strong early laners, so you have to play with respect to that.
Yeah, Golden Guardians happy with the way that that bottom lane is going here nice and early. It means that once they can crash this wave in and then have it bounce back, hey, maybe you have a setup for a good follow-up played in from a gank or a roam. You can see all 3 lanes right now as there's push for Golden Guardians in all 3 of those lanes. Makes it pretty easy for the Sejuani to do whatever he wants in the jungle. You can see him hanging around the top side as he wants to shadow Licorice, getting this wave shoved up. Just make sure that Kenvi isn't coming up here trying to punish the Croc for the early control over the top side. Now, do they actually want to go for the dive here? River's going to start it off with the Arctic Assault. Buffering through it with Licorice's stun. Solo tried to flash away back underneath the turret. It had to be a flash from Licorice. They used the flash for both him and River to get Solo. They get it, but it's still a 1-for-1.
Yeah, but it is first blood for them, you know, and they do deny some of those minions. So at the end of the day, I'm going to call Worth on it. That could have been a little bit cleaner, but you couldn't actually get the auto after that permafrost, you know, had been applied from River, so he couldn't actually get that proc of damage, which is quite a bit of it. And I don't think he got the aftershock damage either. You know, so maybe there's a way they could have played it out a little bit differently where, you know, he's kind of in dealing a bit more damage before tanking that tower to try to finish it off. But, you know, he pulled aggro and then River's kind of just standing right at the edge of the turret so he can take maximum shots. But it just took Licorice a little bit too long, obviously, without having that buy to be able to get a kill. Oh, they're looking for a repeat here, and this is devastating. If you die again after having TP'd back, oh, this is tough.
Yeah, there it is. The flail connects. Nope, Solo gets away back underneath the turret. Yes, he takes a chunk of damage, but he's doing all right. He's level 5, Licorice only level 4. So Solo will maintain his position here in the lane. Because River had to walk through the turret to make the gank happen when there were no minions, it means that he can't try to come back again. Gori with a nice accelerated shock blast there from out of vision to chunk Bolulu down very low. And now the Annie's got to be respectful.
Yeah, and he kind of just put it between multiple minions there. Now Kenvi coming up top to cover. It's always risky, you know, if you try to actually get that demolish proc, Ornn can sometimes just stun you on the tower and then AoE the wave, and then all of a sudden you are looking like a fool. So have to play with respect to that. It's always so tempting though to walk up and get the demolish proc. It's such a dopamine rush when you get that proc and you get a plate. So you can fall prey to it.
Those little rocks going dink donk dink.
You gotta keep them going. Yeah. You can't let the little rocks stop. It's not an option.
Those things are very they can betray you. It's the least in queue for everyone. It's just counting down sometimes to your own demise.
Yep.
But he doesn't fall prey to it this time. Licorice playing with respect towards that Ornn. Golden
Wiser
Guardians.
man than me.
Yeah, I mean, hey, most times
I
I'm
die
gonna
for
take
those every time.
the little rocks dinking and donking down. Golden Guardians going after the first Drake of the game now, too. Very early first Drake, and it's an ocean. Man, you want to talk about how annoying Varus and Jayce and these types of champions can be in lane.
Yep.
It's even worse when they have this extra early power, and it doesn't look like anybody from IMT is going to be ready to deal with them. So there it is. Golden Guardians before 6 minutes into the game. Ocean Drake.
Yep, absolutely. Going to be feeling really good about that. Utilizing that prowl they have from the Varus. Gori having to be a little bit respectful here. We'll have to back it up, but Huhi now is covering him. And Gori can clean out this pink ward, move back in towards mid. We'll see Bolulu, how he's going to want to play with his ultis. He is playing Airy. He's not actually playing First Strike, which is what we see so often with the NA. So usually with First Strike, they're just dropping tippers on cooldown, right? Just to actually be able to farm gold, you know, get that push out. Will Bolulu play that a little bit differently, or will he still use the tippers for lane prio? Is kind of the big question for me.
Well, Licorice and Solo just continue trading back and forth up here in the top side. Solo hitting that level 7 first makes it difficult for Licorice to be able to trade into him as long as Solo maintains control over that wave, and he's the one killing those minions first, staying slightly ahead of the EXP curve. It reduces the opponent's opportunities to make those trades, decide when he wants to try to chunk them, and utilize that Renekton's early power. So Solo's doing just fine up here. That's kind of Solo's brand at this point. I'll play the tank, I'll sit top, nothing bad is going to happen. The ship does not sink from damage suffered in the top lane when Solo's playing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he is really, really reliable at this level. The very few players in the league have been able to really bully him and really take advantage of him. So you know what you're going to get. It is interesting how much River is going top, you know, really trying to keep the Ornn behind. We'll see if they can make it happen here.
Yeah, and it looks like they're gonna get him. There it is, Glacial Prison. River collects the kill, and he and Licorice are happy to make this one happen. There it is, the demolished proc. There's nothing to respect. The rocks can dink donk all the way down, and you're just gonna get that free money, that plate money. Golden Guardians up 1,500 gold now, thanks to the kills they found in the top lane, as well as the farm leads that they found.
Yeah, and we'll have to see what that does really kind of turn itself into, because this kill did go to River. Not that that's bad by any means. He's still tied on farm with Kenvi, has made more action happen up on that top side. Renekton gets a little bit of an advantage as well. And we'll just see, you know, if those guys can really make a difference, because it's not as though you're getting your big carries ahead. So we just want to see what they can actually turn that into. Even if Solo gets down a bit on gold, he's always going to have a lot of value in these team fights.
Kenvi starting up the Herald. There is a control ward from Golden Guardians in this pit, so they know that Immortals are going after it. You can see Stixxay's walking up through the river, so I believe the Golden Guardians are not willing to let this one go.
There's no ult on Renekton or Sejuani, though, so I think this is really risky to actually try to force, but they are moving up, as you say, to try to do just that.
That eyeball is
open.
open.
Isn't here, so this is going to be rough now for Immortals.
Golden Guardians, they will lose the patience on the Herald, so a slight reset. Gets about 1/3 of the total HP back. Kenvi's still thinking about approaching, but he just eats a shock blast to the face. He's only half HP now, so Golden Guardians ends up being able to just walk in and take this away from Immortals. 2 out of 2 neutral objectives for the Guardians so far.
Yeah, nicely done. They just have that move coming up from the Varus, so it's going to be the extra man there. One plate is lost, bot to tactical, but Stixxay didn't full commit to the Herald. He basically walked halfway up, moved to mid, and then as soon as he saw it was going to be their Herald, he ran right back down to bot. So I think he only lost like 1 melee minion. Yes, they do lose the plate, but he's not really losing much of anything as far as experience or those minions do go. And they're going to get a plate back mid here themselves. So really, all things considered, it's a trade of plates, and they come away with the local gold from the Herald, plus the ability to crash that in and get even more gold. So Golden Guardians really far ahead off of these early minutes now. 2K up with Herald still to crash. That feels great.
Yeah, 2K from just a single kill advantage over your opponents. Like, that means you're building these leads from everything else. The plates, the farm. Topside is 84 to 66 in the CS department. Even in the jungle, River, despite the fact that he's the one of the 2 junglers that's contributed to making anything happen, is still ahead of Kenvi.
Yep, yeah, it is pretty tough. You know, Kenvi hasn't really been able to find much of anything. Now at level 6, he is going to be trying to look for one of those plays. We'll see if he can find something to turn this game on its head a little bit. You know, it does feel like that first round of ultimates that Immortals do pop, they're going to have to get high value from.
Yes, sir.
They are very ultimate-based comp. You know, you talked about it, all the forms of engage, Ornn ulti, NA ulti, Wukong, Rakan, everything going to be spent likely at once. Potentially have this next dragon fight. We'll see if that's where they kind of want to draw the line in the sand, because it does feel like, as of now, they are slowly bleeding out in this game.
Huhi making the rotation over to mid. You can use the Targons to guarantee that he pops that cannon minion nice and early. If they get this wave shoved up, it means that they'll have extra control to rotate into the river first. But Immortals are the ones who are going to take up that first spot here in the river, clearing out some of the vision, getting ready for the second Drake. It is a Hex Drake. Talked about it before. I love just even the baseline of this Drake being valuable there. Demolish proc goes over to Licorice, nearly has the third plate down here in the top lane, but Solo clearing the wave away quick enough that Licorice cannot secure it in its entirety. Both of our top laners do have Unleashed teleports ready to go. Mid laners doing the same in case any of these guys need to back before a Drake fight would open up. They can join immediately.
Yeah, and Licorice actually pulling the wave a little bit there, but I would rather just see him potentially shove, you know, and try to draw someone up top, because if you make Solo stay top, Solo's so he won't be able to TP without basing first. So if you hard shove, he now has to choose between TPing up towards top and actually answering that wave, or TPing down towards bot. So either way, he will lose out on something. A plate has already been claimed there by Licorice on top side. This is going to be a TP out towards mid, but Golden Guardian's not going to be contested here. River should be able to secure this. Now they're going to TP in.
Huhi's got the Magnet Storm. They followed up the Glacial Prison. They wanted to go after Treatz, but he disengages. Kenvi stuck here in the front, and he's already down. The Ornn sounds off, and it hits two. But where's the follow-up? Treatz now dies. They try to find an Inferno multi. Finally, a little bit of damage back onto the Golden Guardians lines with Solo here in the middle, and Gori and Huhi looking to disengage. Stixxay and Licorice are down. Kenvi and Treatz are down. A 3v3 remains, and Bolulu's looking to lead the way with Gori now going to get popped. And Immortals will win the fight 3-2.
Tactical as he has time and time again to split for this team. Really getting work done in that team fight. The Infernum ulti was massive across the board. I really want to see team fight damage from that one. I do think Bolulu and Tactical are going to have really high numbers, because it did look like Bolulu tagged a lot of people with the Tibbers, but the Infernum was just splashing across all of Golden Guardians there. We can watch it one more time. The initial part of the fight looking really good. There is the lockdown coming through here from Huhi. You can see the Rell stun into that Sejuani ulti. The Varus ult not unfortunately connecting, I think, or potentially it was buffered. It was okay. It hit Kenvi there. But either way, they are able to get that burst down on Kenvi. But look at that. The Infernum across multiple members. Then the Tippers gets dropped onto. They're just locking them down, bursting them down. Solo moving forward, though, but is able to flash back out to survive. River trying to finish someone off, and then Gori. This was a pretty bold play, honestly, from Gori, knowing the Tactical is still going to be around. I don't think he kills him, even if Bolulu doesn't flash it, to be honest with you. Bolulu still had a little bit of that shield up. Would have been close, but either way, is going to spend that flash, will survive. And teamfight damage, yeah, no surprise.
Hot dog.
It is Aphelios topping the table there by a lot. Tactical, it's been Aphelios for him kind of time and time again.
Yeah.
And when you think back to most of the big moments for Immortals this split, it is him taking over.
Well, Kenvi now has to be concerned, because Golden Guardians looking to stop him from taking his own red. Huhi and River are leading the way. Bolulu nearly killed back in mid lane. Kenvi has to use the ulti to try to continue the disengage, but Stixxay puts an arrow in his back. Golden Guardians gonna find the kill there, but now they gotta be careful. Stixxay's down below 100 HP. Gori's made his rotation over. A double kill back to Stixxay. Tactical, nicely done there. Trying to use the Calibrum to tag another target. Utilize these Chakrams, find a little bit more of that DPS.
Oh.
There it is, the long-range shot.
Uh-oh.
Not quite gonna get the Moonlight Vigil. Huhi's still hanging around.
Damn, Tactical played that really well. Didn't even have to spend his flash. He was getting max damage there in a losing fight. Getting one back, almost getting two back. Really well done by him. You know, did have that first completed item. Static Shiv done on the other side for his opponent. And Licorice trying to run down Solo. We'll see if he can do it. I think he's maybe a little bit short. Yep.
Yeah, not quite enough damage. The cooldowns were all spent at that point. You can't chase him underneath the turret. Honestly, if you're on Immortals side, if you're an Immortals fan, it's a tactical game. It's all going to be up to him. Absolutely,
it really is at this point. Kenvi having a bit of a roughie here, you know, getting burst out here once again on this play. You can see the Everfrost stacked up. They lock him down. In comes Stixxay, and Stixxay flashing in, auto Q, instantly bursted out. But Tactical has just been hitting Q after Q with the sniper form, which is stacking up those Chakrams, and that's why I was calling it out. You know, when you get those stacked up, you can really start to get going crazy in these fights. He's just been procking after proc after proc, knocks down Gori, almost able to even get River here as well, as he puts the turret over the wall, gets all of that damage down on him. If River didn't get out of there, potentially that ulti might have been enough. Would have been close either way. Well played by the two AD carries. It is going to be a bit of a battle between these two guys. As expected, Shiv going to be going into that AP variant here next for Stixxay. Licorice can just walk this one out, but it is going to be him pushed out of lane at the very least.
Exactly. Bolulu just looking to take the control over top side, force Licorice away so you can try to put some pressure up here on this turret. Gori putting pressure on the bottom tier 1 instead. Golden Guardians with that are going to claim the first turret of the game, build that gold lead up to 4,500, and you're getting rid of one of those bastions of safety on the bottom half of the map with the Drake being less than a minute away. It means if that fight happens and it goes bad for Immortals, one less place you might be able to retreat to.
And there are already 2 dragons to 0, right? So they can be continually working towards that soul here. Definitely don't want the Tibbers to die. It is worth actually a lot of gold, so you want to make sure you're staying far enough away that it'll snap back to you if you're going to walk back in for a little bit of poke. Now the engage.
Nice engage. They want to go after Stixxay, but does Tactical have the damage to burst him out? There's Kenvi swooping in. He's going to grab the shutdown. Immortals, they utilize both summoner spells from Treatz and his ultimate and the Kenvi ulti, but they get their target. Stixxay's dead for 20 seconds, and the Drake is live in 15.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a tough one to fight for Golden Guardians now. They are still kind of hovering around the area, but for now, it is a push on top side there from Licorice. You can see he is walking down that top lane, and Bolulu coming over to answer. We have a Herald drop mid, so going to be looking to try to push out these lanes on the side of Immortals, then move in towards the Dragon, but they have to start it quickly because Stixxay is respawning. They don't want him time to get back. Will the Herald get the charge? Yes. So they at the very least get that, and now they just need to try to burst down this Dragon and then get out, because if Stixxay arrives, they are going to have, you know, some trouble potentially in these fights.
And remember, there's no ulti on Rakan, Aphelios, or Wukong. So even though they got the kill on Stixxay, they don't want to fight until those are back up and ready to utilize again. Tactical and Treatz, nice sidestep there, getting away from accelerated shock blast. As Immortals continues to exfiltrate, but Treatz has been caught. Licorice taking a kill. Not what Immortals wanted there. You got to be careful, man. You know Golden Guardians is prowling around looking for something.
I mean, he literally just sidestepped the shock blast. He knew for a certainty that that's where the guy was. You knew that they're on that side of the map, but if the Jayce is there, very likely there's going to be others. Yes, you are on the Rakan, so I think he's thinking, oh, I can be a human ward, I'll walk up. Bolulu may look over the wall there. He's 3 stacks on the passive and the flash, so if Stixxay goes forward, he could die, but yeah, I mean, it's just kind of overconfidence, right? You know, I think in his mind, he's going to walk up, he's going to see someone, and then he's going to W over the wall to safety. But Huhi's engage was really nicely done. He led with the Q, so he stunned him into the crash down. There wasn't really a window for him to get out, and then during all that, River stacks up the passive.
Oh no, Tactical instantly drops and Treatz right next to him. That was clean from Golden Guardians, just catching Immortals there when they were not expecting it.
Yeah, that was a beautiful engage there. Huhi has been on point, honestly. Golden Guardians looking good on these engages, and you can see the amount of burst that can come out when these guys are connecting with all their spells. When the Varus hits full combo, you just go boom. Like, you are just absolutely erased in some of these fights. And that was the flash off of Tactical as well, which is going to make it really hard potentially in these next fights, right? Because right now he has no cleanse. That'll probably be back up before he fights again. But even with that, if you're getting flashed on by River, by Licorice, by multiple people, not having that flash, you're not going to have any way to reposition because he doesn't have the Gale Force stun, and there's no sort of defensive support to keep him safe. It's going to be hard for them to fight, honestly, for the next 5 minutes.
It's going to be hard for Immortals to fight for the rest of this game. It feels like 6,500 gold, man. Like, that is not a negligible lead 19 minutes into the game. These guys are slamming their face into a brick wall right about now. You would hope that Tactical could be the wrecking ball, but everybody on Golden Guardians just so far ahead now.
Well, and this is kind of the problem, right? We've seen this a few times. You know, Bolulu does like the Leandry's build. There's nothing wrong with it by any means. But when you go Leandry's, when you go these kind of defensive boots, you are having less of a threat of like 100-0 on a squishy. Yeah. And Annie doesn't really function well fighting front to back either. So, you know, in a couple of these games, we've seen Bolulu in the similar position where people are just going to ignore him and run a Tactical. And if Tactical is not free firing, they just don't have enough damage left in the team, right? Your jungler is not in a great spot. Like, he's behind, your mid lane is behind, and is going for more of this kind of lower burst build. So it's really all on Tactical, which makes the job pretty easy, I think, for Golden Guardians to just throw everything at him.
Gori getting caught out now. Bolulu, he might not have a max damage build, but he's got more than enough to kill a Jayce that's caught out of position like that. Gori definitely shouldn't have been there.
Yeah, Gori pushing up a little bit too far. Great TP there. Will catch him by solo. Doesn't look like it's going to be anything more than that, though, because they need to respond to Licorice on this bottom side. He is pushing up on that tier 2. The farm will be collected by Tactical, so we'll be able to keep that tier 2 alive. But a lot of chip damage put on it. And Licorice potentially could try to take this red away. I think he's going to feel that maybe a bit too greedy, but we'll see if they can get double red. It's always nice to be able to deny that.
Yeah. well.
With the blast cone there, he feels safe. Even if
Yeah.
someone comes, he should be able to just dash the blast cone and get out. So I think he's chilling.
There we go. Red secured. Bolulu's going to show up just in time to see the orb sitting there. That
They're looking for
unfortunately is not
tactical.
for his team.
He's going to flank tactical potentially here.
Yeah, Huhi just went over the wall.
Spotted though.
Licorice spotted out, so this shouldn't turn into a whole lot more. I would expect Immortals to disengage from this.
Yeah, you don't want to be walking up with Renekton behind you. That is terrifying. And as soon as that vision plant was hit by Bolulu and spotted out the Renekton, Immortals are going to back it up. You're not going to be risking getting flanked here by Licorice. That could be game ending. If you die right now in mid, they would take Baron, and that is the end of your hopes in this game. So it's going to be up to Tactical. Second item is completed. He has the Gale Force now, and the Flash is coming off of cooldown here in about a minute and a half or so. But Golden Guardians are just trying to push the pace. They want them to come, and they want to try to punish this missing Flash. There is a good ward here, potentially 4 TP available as well. You can see this pink ward on the minimap, as well as a ward over there. So a lot of wards to TP2.
Yeah.
This one's early, but they can just go on Licorice. That was...
Licorice is ready to try to enter the fight. Kenvi popping the ulti here nice and early. The Baron's down to 3K, but now they're ready to fight. Treatz is killed as soon as he tries to go in. Huhi drops the Magnet Storm on 2. Kenvi has to pop that stasis to stay alive as Licorice looks for Tactical, but he won't find enough damage just yet. Solo with a re-engage right back on the river, and Tactical has the damage. Golden Guardians are in trouble, and the Ornn horn sounds off. Flash from Licorice and Stixxay both to try to keep themselves away as Solo continues pushing forward. Bolulu right beside him. They want Stixxay. You take out the Varus, there's not a whole lot of damage left. Licorice still prowling around looking here. Tactical goes forward, using that Gale Force. Keep in mind, he's got the lockdown there.
Oh!
But Stixxay beautifully fired
Gori?
back, takes Solo out. Gori and Huhi coming around from behind. Golden Guardians punish Immortals and wipe them off the map.
What a scrappy fight. It looked like that was going to be Immortals' fight to win there. Tactical had played it out really well. And Stixxay, it looked like it had taken, what, 70% of his health from the Baron before it even kicked off. So he couldn't really stay involved. But the turnaround there, Stixxay getting a kill onto Solo before he goes down. And then Gori and Huhi arrive and take out everyone. They're onto the Baron here. This is going to be a slow kill, but there's no one from Immortals to try to contest. So it should go down here. I mean, Treatz can try to poke and
What are you
prod.
talking about, man? Rakan's right there. He's going to hit him with the Gleaming Quill. Whoop!
Throw it over the wall.
It's going to do like 80 whole damage.
Yeah, I mean, may as well. You know the game is pretty doomed, so may as well at that point.
9,000 gold and Baron. 22 minutes in.
That is real rough. It's going to be secured, and they are feeling really good about their chances now. But again, that was such a scrappy fight, and Tactical played it out very, very well. They created space for him. Golden Guardians looked like they were going to be losing that fight, but are able to come out on top in the end. And Gori getting in on top of that AD, that missing flash did end up really punishing them. Now trying to take this dragon here. There is flashback for Tactical, so they're just going to try to make something happen.
Chains of Corruption
Gori's
hits
behind him.
Solo.
Gori's
He's
behind
immediately dead. The tank is already gone, and Gori's coming around from the flank. Magnet Storm locks down everybody as Licorice flies over the wall with the Dominus, and Immortals are crushed. Triple kill to Stixxay's Varus. GG.
Yeah, that should probably do it. That AP Varus just bursting through him, absolutely shredding through. That max health damage here, you know, with the Blighted Quiver active is so much damage. When you have that passive stacked up with AP that is amped up, you know, the percentage max health damage, and that allows you to really shred through tanks. You wouldn't think of like this AP on-hit Varus as being a tank killer. It is. It absolutely will destroy you. And there's not really much MR at all to speak of on the Ornn, so they make him pay. Really good positioning in that fight from Golden Guardians. Gori made it so Tactical can never actually commit to the fight. And you look at the Ornn up here, just watch how fast he actually does go down. There's the stun. Again, all the setup there for this Varus. He just gets shredded, like he insta-died. That was kind of crazy. And then behind, Gori is coming in, Licorice is coming in. Tactical could never join the fight, right? Like, how does Tactical play out this fight with two solo laners behind him and your front lane instantly dead? You just can't actually do anything about it. So great positioning from Golden Guardians and really showcasing the power of this AP Varus build. And from this spot, I think Crown of the Shattered Queen makes a lot of sense. You know, what is one of the only ways you could lose? Well, maybe your Varus gets one shot. Crown kind of says no to that as well, and there's not great ways to poke it off for this composition. He has no flash, but he has the safety of that mythic completed now. So Golden Guardians 13K ahead, 25 minutes in. They are on the march.
Sometimes your win condition is just shoring up the only possible loss condition.
Yep.
And now Immortals are stuck in such an unplayable position here in the game as Golden Guardians knock down that first tier 3 turret in the top side. They're going to look for tier 3 in mid next. Licorice has control over that wave. Solo's ready to summon up the Ornn here. They're going after Stixxay. They do a lot of damage, and they manage to take him out, but they're already going to lose their jungler in return. Shut down over to Tactical. He's got to do a lot more work. Licorice pops the dominance, continues running forward. Now they're going to turn their focus over onto Bolulu as Tactical falls back towards the fountain. He'll be the last man standing. A quadra kill over to Gori. Tactical gets down. Get kill for Gori of the Golden Guardians. The ace will be the end of the game.
What a way to close it out. Gori comes up huge. They do take down Stixxay, but it is the Jayce in the mid lane that makes him pay. 5 kills, all in his pockets. Another win will go their way.
Golden Guardians with a 15,000 gold lead at 26 minutes, 23-10. They'll take the dub and take down Immortals.
And they crushed Immortals here today. Another fast one. It has been a split of fast games. The analysts were talking about it, how this has been the trend around the world when you get ahead.